What's up, guys? Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be showing you how to select multiple elements, HTML elements with JavaScript. And this is really useful when you have like a list of items like we have here. And maybe you want to select, all of them at once and change them when you click a button or do something like that. So I already have my file created because I brought over a design that I made on another video from frontendmentor.com, a little link profile. And I thought that we could use this little HTML CSS template to select stuff and have fun and show you this lesson here. So all of this code is going to be linked in the description, so you can just go to my GitHub and copy all this in and do the lesson with me. I'll also link the video where I built this if you're interested with HTML and CSS from a design. If you want to do that part first, just to maybe get better at HTML and CSS, and then go to this video, whatever you want to do, but it'll all be in the description. Okay, so let's go down here and let's go in between. I got some script tags already right over the closing body tag, so go ahead and make your script tags. And then I'll show you how to select some multiple elements, and we're going to be using this list of links here to demonstrate this lesson, because that's like a really practical use case of when you want to select multiple stuff and manipulate it at the same time with JavaScript is with list items. So first I'll show you how to do things like the older way before JavaScript got that big ES6 update in like 2015, 2016. And so we'll say the old way. And you'll see why it's not as good as the newer way, because it involves like an extra step or two to be able to do what you want, but it still works. And you might see it if you get a job that has like a lot of older JavaScript code. It's going to be doing it by the getElementsByClassName method, or also getElementsByTagName. So we'll just say select multiple elements using getElementsByClassName and getElementsByTagName. Okay. So again, this is like kind of like the older way. Both methods are like pretty much the same. They return what's called an HTML collection, which is fine. It means it returns basically HTML, but then that also means that you can't use stuff like loops. We just learned about for loops a couple lessons ago to like loop over it and select it. You have to do an extra step first. That's basically what that means, and I'll show you here. So let's go ahead and make a variable, and we'll put all of our list items in here. So each link here, each link here on our little link tree that we made in this project has a class of item. Okay, so we'll go ahead and select using that. So I'm going to say const, and we'll call our variable list items, and that'll be equal to document.getElementById, and that'll be equal to document dot, and we'll use getElementsByClassName. So notice how it's not element, it's elements, plural, right? All right, and then we'll put our parentheses, and the class name that we want to select from is item. Okay. So if you watch my video on document.getElementId to select stuff, this is pretty similar, right? Pretty much the same thing. You're just using getElementsByClassName. And then let's go ahead and console.log this so we can see what we have here. So we'll console.log list items. And let's right click and inspect. Go to the console, and here we have an HTML collection, and it's showing us all of our items here. Okay, as we hover over them, it's showing us what they look like on the actual in the actual DOM here. Okay, so normally what you would want to do if you want to like change or manipulate these, you might think like intuitively like, oh, like I have them all now because it says getElementsByClassName. It's everything. So I can just say like list items dot style dot color equals red. And we get an error here, undefined setting colors. Doesn't know what we're talking about because we're not actually selecting all of them at the same time like you think we would be, because that's vanilla JavaScript, and for you it just doesn't make much sense. But we can use like bracket notation. So remember in our arrays video, I showed you how to do that bracket notation. Since this is an HTML collection, it does allow you to use bracket notation to select stuff. So again, it's the same as arrays. This starts at 0 index, 1, which is why I put 1 here and it actually changed, 2, 3, 4, okay? So again, if I wanted to do the first one, I'd say 0. If I want to do the last one, I'd say 4, okay? So you can select different ones like that by just using bracket notation. But if you want to select all of them, you have to loop through it like an array, and then you can manipulate all of them. So to do that, I'll show you here. So we're going to use something called a forEach loop to try to loop through all these and actually select them all so that we can change them all. So let's say list items dot forEach, and then we'll say item, and then we're going to use an arrow function. And then let's see if we can just do a console.log and say item.innerText. See if we can get them all to spit out here in the console. And you see here we get this error, uncaught type error, list items.forEach is not a function. And again, that's because we have to take an extra step to actually make these into a more of an array collection. So we have an HTML collection now, and we need to make it what's called like a NodeList, which will allow us to use array like methods, which include loops. So we have to convert this basically to like an array on the back end so that we can loop through it properly and do what we want to do. So to do that, I'll just comment this out. We have to do it. Whoops, I want to delete this. I want to comment that out. So to do that, we have to convert into array. So let's say convert HTML collection into an array. So to do that, we can make a new variable. We'll say const, and we'll say list items array equals array dot from. And then we'll put in parentheses, and we'll say list items. Okay. So again, we're making a new variable, and then we're using array.from to put list items in, to convert this list items variable into an array. So we're putting that in the parentheses here. And now we can go down, and we can try list items array. So our new variable. So now this is an array. We stored the array of list items. We converted it, and then we stored it in this array. So now we're going to use it. So list items array, and now let's try again. Say dot forEach, and then we can say item, and then an arrow function, curly braces, and now let's try again. Say console.log item.innerText. Save, and there they are. See our console, see it? It looped through them, and it actually did what we wanted. So now we have control of all of them, okay? So now we can do whatever. We can say item.innerText equals, and we can just say hello world. And look, now all of our links say hello world, okay? We could say item.innerText, or let's say let's style it. Say item.style.color equals yellow. So now they're all yellow text. Pretty cool. And I'll do one more. We'll say item. Whoops. Item dot style dot background color equals, we'll say purple. Now they're all purple. Okay. So that's the old way of selecting and manipulating a bunch of items with the same class. Okay. So basically it's not, I'll show you the more modern way next, but just remember that this old way, either getElementsByTagName or getElementsByClassName, it's the same thing. It's going to return a collection. And then in order, you can use bracket notation to select what you want out of the collection, starting at the 0 index. But if you want to have control over all of them, you have to put it in a loop. And to do that, you have to first convert it into an array collection using Array.from. And then you can go ahead and use like a forEach loop and a little arrow function. And if you're not like getting the syntax completely, I don't think I've really covered arrow functions. Just know that it's like a little shortcut to just make code. Okay, like don't worry about it. Just know that if you're doing a project right now and you need to select a bunch of stuff, this is one way to do it. And just follow my syntax and make your own variables and select your own stuff. Okay, don't worry about every little minute detail of why this works. Okay, that was a big mistake that I made when I first started learning how to code. Sometimes you're not going to know or remember everything, guys. Just get the snippet of code you need and use it in your project. So let's move on, though. I'm going to show you the more modern way to where we don't have to do this step, and that's going to be using a method called querySelectorAll. So let's say select multiple elements the modern way. Whoops, modern way. And that's document. That's going to be query selector all. All right. So let's comment this stuff out for now, because we're going to be doing similar things and this code's going to interfere with our new code. So let's go ahead and make our variable again. So let's say const list items. And let's say that'll equal to document dot querySelectorAll. That's what we're going to use this time. And then we're going to put dot item, because we want to select the class. And then we'll say, or just to show you, we can also use bracket notation with this as well. So we can say using bracket notation, just like the other one. So we could say list items 1 dot inner text equals hello. And then remember 0, 1 index, we change the text to hello. Could say list items 0 dot inner text. And we can say that's equal to goodbye. Okay. So again, that's just using bracket notation to manipulate some elements that have the same class name by bracket notation. But then, like we did before, we could use our little forEach loop. So we could say list items dot forEach, and we could say item and arrow function, curly braces, and now we can do item dot style dot color equals, say, orange. Boom. So we didn't have to do that whole step of converting it into an array, again, because instead of returning an HTML collection, this returns a NodeList, which is basically like an array. So we can console.log list items, and see, like, now it says NodeList, and that looks, it allows you to use like array methods on it. So we can skip that whole extra step of having to convert it into an array to do stuff like that. So, and then again, we can say item dot style dot background. Oops, I always get that wrong. Background color equals purple. Okay. So now we're changing a bunch of stuff here. Do one more. Say item dot inner text equals, and we'll just say, I want them all to say links. Okay. So now we're manipulating everything at once. So that's all I wanted to go over for this video, guys. Just want to show you how to select multiple elements that share the same class name, which is, again, is a pretty common thing. So this is how you do it. So again, you might see this older code, which is going to be getElementsByClassName or getElementsByTagName. But this is the new way to do it. This is the way you should stick with from now on. Use querySelectorAll, and then you can use a forEach loop or bracket notation to select whatever you want and have it be manipulated. Just like a quick fun fact, like, so this querySelectorAll, this pretty much took the place of jQuery. If you've heard of jQuery, like the old JavaScript library before like React came out, because you used to be able to use jQuery to do similar stuff. But this was like a game changer when this came out, and it was like the first domino to fall in getting rid of jQuery, was being able to use querySelectorAll. So this was like a big breakthrough. So yeah, just stick with this, guys. This is the new way. And yeah, that's all I wanted to go through in this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.